I want to give a huge shout out to my neurologist and the staff that work there. Thank you all so much for understanding disability, patient privacy, and accommodations. I give you all big props, and here's why. So when I go to doctor's appointments, the receptionist and medical staff often don't know how to handle someone with visual impairment. And it was refreshing to go into my neurologist's office and have them be on point and know how to handle a situation. So usually what happens, I go in with someone who, like my roommate or her mom or someone who drives me, and if it's a building, they go in with me to help me out. And they're not a caregiver, they're just a driver. So I go in, I check into a doctor's office, and they ask me all these questions, but they don't ask me. They ask the person that's with me, like I'm not there, or like I'm a child who can't answer questions. I'm 34. I've been living my life independently for the most part, like most of my life. I know more about myself than anybody else, and it's crazy that they assume that the person with me is a full-time caregiver or is the guardian or the adult in the situation. It's very infantilizing. When they do this, they treat me like a child. And my neurologist did not do that. I want to say names, but I don't want to dox them. So if you see this, you know who you are. You treated me with respect. You did not assume that the person with me was my caregiver. You were kind, professional, and you understood accommodations and patient rights. So the second thing that happens is they have that clipboard of paperwork that they need filled out, which they could send to me ahead of time. I've asked doctors' offices to do that, and they're like, well, you can fill it out when you get here, or go online to our portal and fill it out there. Most of the time, those portals aren't accessible using a screen reader. So yeah, so they hand the person with me the clipboard, and they say, we need you to fill this out. And I say, well, I would like to fill this out in the privacy of an exam room or somewhere else where there's not a bunch of patients sitting around that can hear my answers, because I don't want to disclose my medical information to an entire waiting room full of people. And I always get a lot of pushback on this. They say, well, we need you to fill that out before you can go back to the exam room. And the person with you can fill it out for you. The person with me is not a caregiver. It is not my responsibility to make sure your stuff is accessible. So my neurologist, who did a fantastic job, goes, I have paperwork for you. Is the person with you going to... well, first she asked what our relationship was. She's like, are they a friend, a caregiver, or whatever? I said, oh, they're just a driver. And she didn't even ask that. She just said, who's this with you? And I told them that she was a driver. So once she understood that the person with me was my driver, she said, okay, I need you to fill this out, but I don't, due to patient privacy concerns, we'll have you fill it out in the back room, and I'll have one of the medical assistants help you fill it out. Fantastic. I wish more doctors' offices understood this fact. Patient privacy, patient rights, and HIPAA are something I take very seriously. And like I said, I don't want to fill out paperwork answering questions vocally in a waiting room with other people. When someone gets that paperwork in the waiting room who's sighted, they get the basic right of filling it out without anybody else in that waiting room knowing what the paperwork, what they're putting down as answers. And the lady who was helping me said, there's a lot of sensitive questions on here. We'll have you fill it out in the back. Thank you. They knew what sighted guide was, which is where you assist someone who's visually impaired by offering them your elbow. And then we hold on to your elbow and walk behind you, and very good. The two people who did sighted guide with me were very good and professional, and they gave me directions. They were very clear about where chairs were and the layout of a room. So thank you all so much for that. You guys get major props. I actually wrote a thank you letter to try to submit to the office. However, when I tried to submit it, it said there's bad words in there and they can't submit it. There is no bad words. The only words that I can think that are problematic is the words disability. So I don't know what's up with that. People say it's because the government puts something forward where words can't be used now. I don't know. Haven't really dug too much into that. But to my neurology team, thank you so much. Thank you for treating me like an independent adult. Thank you for understanding accessibility concerns and accommodations and patient rights and patient privacy. Orion, I love you all. Be kind to yourselves and others. Go learn some cool shit. Make the world a better place. We love you. Take care. Peace out.